Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick, and today we have set number 75267. This is the LEGO Star Wars Mandalorian Battle Pack, released in January 2020. And this set retailed for $15, like the normal Battle Pack price right now. And it was loosely based on the Mandalorian TV show, which is really good. And, you know, I'm glad that they did do a couple sets based off of it, though none of the 4 characters in the set are the Mandalorian himself, and, you know, they're not really important characters, or they don't even look exactly like the show counterparts, but they are all Mandalorians, and they're all kind of cool. The instructions here are just normal battle pack instructions, which are a relatively small size, but they do have ads in the back for the other Star Wars sets of the wave, including the other battle pack, which I might have to get eventually, the Sith Trooper one. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is here. There are 2 small builds and 4 figures. The first build here is this little Mandalorian speeder, which is pretty much directly inspired most by actually the original LEGO Mandalorian battle pack from the Clone Wars. Which was like a 2011 set, I believe, around that time. And this is basically exactly the same build, just color swapped, and with stud shooters now. And the stud shooters do work pretty well. You know, you just push in the trigger, and, you know, it's nice to have some sort of weapon on this thing, I guess. But yeah, it's got the single cone in the back to represent thrusters. No, it's not even hovering off the ground. It's it just sits there. I like these with the flag pieces. You know, has little winglets on the front, and your Mandalorian can just sit in there perfectly fine. Yeah, I mean, it's just there. And if you remove it, you can see there's just a 2x2 space for it to sit. Nothing special there. But yeah, this is a fine little build, and I think that as far as battle pack builds go, this is pretty decent. It's not super duper anything crazy special. You know, it's just a little speeder, but it's a cool one. And the other build here is this little rocky encampment, sort of, I don't know, some sort of ruins or something, where it's basically like a spot for this figure to hide. And, you know, if we remove the figure out of here, you can see there's space for maybe one figure to stand back here, and I guess you could put one up here, but he wouldn't be hidden very well. Or I guess you could do one like here or there, but in either of those spots, you know, they're not really hiding. There's a clip back here which would allow you to store the weapon of one of them. And there's also this jumper plate right there, which would allow you to take the other ones. Oops, I keep pulling off their helmets instead of their weapons. That's not good. But that jumper allows you to kind of set up one of the guns as sort of a point defense turret or something. And you can stick your figure there and, you know, make it look like they're operating this little turret. And yeah, I mean, this is fine. This build of the 2 is actually sort of more inspired by the Mandalorian than the other speeder, but even then, it's, you know, it's just rocks, but it's kind of cool, and it allows you to kind of make a little bit of an interesting display. So I don't mind it. It's a decent enough thing. Let's stick another one right there. Yeah. You can have a couple figures in that area, and I think that it looks okay. Here are our first 2 Mandalorians, and both of these are pretty interesting. Every single figure in the set has an exclusive torso print and helmet print, and I believe all of their helmet colors are actually exclusive as well, like just the plastic color of the molding. And every figure except for this guy here has exclusive printed legs, so that guy got the short end of the stick there, but, you know, that's okay. Everyone also gets a stud shooter, so hooray. And they do include a rangefinder and one of these visor things for each of the Mandalorians. There's, you know, 4 of each. 2 of them use the rangefinder in the set. 2 of them just have nothing on their helmet. The only reason these are included are because they're molded in the same batch as the little rangefinders. So, you know, they all come in like one separate little baggie. And, you know, the printing of both these figures is pretty good. I like the capes on them. We do have a lighter brown one for this guy and a darker brown for the other one. If we turn around or remove the capes, you can see the back printing on both of these figures. And, you know, the prints for the torsos are all really good. And if you want a look at the new capes, they're completely like square cut around the corners. And you do fold them over like a normal cape. So to apply them, or to attach them, you just go like that. And they fall behind the figure really nicely, actually. I like the way that these ones look. They're a little bit less, little bit less cloaky and more like, just a I don't know, some sort of robe. I don't know how to describe them, but they're kind of a cool cut of cape, and it's nice to add this to their current fabric cut lineup. And here we have the other two figures in the set, and both of these ones are actually really good. I really kind of like the helmet design for this one here, and the blue one, like the green one, is a little bit out there in color scheme, but I think that it's kind of cool as an exclusive figure to this set. Both of these are pretty good. They both have stud shooters. These legs over here are basically a color swapped print of the green helmeted guys, and these ones here are basically, I believe they're a new design completely. I don't think they're just like a color swap version of Boba Fett's or anything. But torso prints on both these are good. Obviously, I guess I didn't say this explicitly with the other two, but every figure in the set just has a plain black head underneath. And if we turn these around, we can see we get a green version of the cape with that guy. And with this guy here, we get a black version, and I guess we're going to have to pull off his head in order to turn that around and show you the back print on him. And he's got some metallic back printing, which is kind of cool. And overall, both these figures are pretty good. And overall, for $15 for 4 exclusive figures, I don't think that this is too bad a deal. All pretty good-looking exclusive figures, and if you like Mandalorians, because Mandalorians are cool, you'll probably like this. If you just like the Mandalorian show, you'll probably be a tiny bit disappointed that none of these figures are super-duper explicitly the same as characters that you see in the Mandalorian. Like, there are better choices that they could have made, I think, for that, but I also don't think that they had the concept art for any of the other Mandalorians, because it does seem like a lot of the Mandalorian stuff was sort of hidden until really, really close to the release of the show. So, I'll give them a pass on that. But, it's just, you don't have to buy it if you don't really care about these particular figures. But if you do, they're really cool, and I'd recommend it. If you have any sort of interest in this at all, I think that this will probably still be a pretty popular one after the set retires, especially for people who want to sort of try to build up the scene from the end of Episode 3 of The Mandalorian. Even though these are a little bit bright and they'll sort of stand out a little bit, I do think having the Mandalorian variety, and especially the different prints for the helmets, I think, is a really cool thing to get here. Especially like this one and that one could probably be pretty useful in a more gritty looking Star Wars mock, like actually based on the show. These two are cool variants, though they are a little bit bright, and maybe had they toned it down and gone with like a dark blue and a dark green, I think that they would have been a little bit more useful for fans of the show to build stuff with. But I think that these are fine because it is Lego, it is a toy, so it's nice to have bright colored stuff sometimes, especially in Star Wars sets where we don't really get that. So hope you guys enjoyed this little review. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.